What's going on, everybody? It is the Dinger Dudes podcast. Welcome in. My name is Steven. Just in case you didn't know, I am here with the amazing person that I know and that I love, and my
You're
Twinkie
right.
boy,
You're right.
Mr. Andrew, and then this idiot,
That's right. That's right.
Jackson Voles. Unfortunately, is also on the podcast with us. Um, I mean,
Unfortunately,
we've had to deal with him all day because his Eagles won the stupid playoff game, which
you're
he's not
right.
even a real Eagles fan. Never has been, never will be. Um,
He doesn't know the lyrics to "Fly Eagles Fly."
yeah, I tried to
That's all you
tell
should
him
know.
twice on it, and only lyrics he knows is literally "Fly Eagles Fly." So
Quite lately.
that's great. Um, but we're not here to talk about football, playoffs, and everything else. We are here to talk about free agency news. The
Mm.
That's
last
right.
time we were on, we were talking about just where these big free agents were going to go. And I mean, there have been some big announcements that have been happening ever since we did the last episode. And I
Yeah.
guess the reason that I'm just kind of in like a bad mood or like just kind of
Yeah.
passive aggressive when it comes to this episode is because there is a certain team that is just ruining the game that I love.
We're
And
not going to be
honestly,
talking about this team a lot.
it's killing me. It is killing the game. I don't care what anybody in the Trevor Plouffe worlds and the people at Talking Baseball have to say about it. It's good for the game, and that all these guys are coming, and like you're getting to see these incredible players. They're all going to the same team. The Dodgers are basically building the Avengers over there,
I want
and
to answer.
it's killing the game. It's not fun to watch. I don't want to watch the game this year. I don't want to watch the season this year
Because we know
because
how it's
all
going
the
to end.
players are going to the same team. We'll get into it individually, but let's talk about the stuff, and we'll get into the Dodgers later. Um, one big agent that I believe, I don't know if we did talk about this on the last podcast or if we've been on air since it happened, but with the Juan Soto deal. Um,
We
Juan
did
Soto,
talk about that. Did we? I can't remember. I have a
Juan
bad
Soto
memory.
is the last thing we did talk about.
yeah, but did it like was he signed or did we just talk about him where we thought he would go?
I mean, I know we made an Instagram post about it. I'm not sure if we did it on YouTube.
That's not the
We
same
can
thing
go.
as talking about it on a podcast.
We can go and talk about it a little bit. We can go and talk about it
Oh
a
wait,
little
no,
bit.
no, 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 no. Because the last time we went live or any did sort of episode, it was the night before he got signed. So yeah. Well, if you haven't seen it, Juan
So
Soto's
the,
not
the
the
answer
Mets.
Well,
the
yeah,
answer
I'm
to that
sure
would have been
everybody
no.
has seen it now. So yeah, just first off, get your reactions on that. Juan Soto, 15 years, biggest contract in baseball. $5 million more than Shohei Ohtani's contract. A lot of people like there are some people that believe he got overpaid, but when you're paying for the best hitter in the league and just the way that the market is right now, it's not really a shocking contract, at least to me. It's just insane, man. I said it on the Instagram reactions that it sucks as a Braves fan. It's like he's
Yeah.
back in our division. It's something that our pitchers are going to have to deal with. And yeah, Juan Soto is now a New York Met. So reactions to that. What did we think he was going to the Mets or what's going on?
So my original prediction, I thought he was going to a team like the Boston Red Sox because there was a lot of talks about just him being paired up with Devers and Duran out in Boston. I believe Andrew and you, I'm not sure if it was Andrew and you, both said he was going back to the Yankees.
I did say the Yankees.
And
I
I
thought it
think
was going
your
back to the Yankees.
yeah, and I think your brother Chase, who unfortunately cannot be on tonight for unforeseen circumstances, aka he is sick, said that it was the Philadelphia Phillies who were going to acquire him. So at least he didn't go to the Phillies. I mean, still a
It doesn't
divisional.
matter to me.
It's the
And
same equivalent.
it's the
That
same
sucks
thing.
too. That's
And I've always been the guy. I know the Phillies have kind of struck our hearts more than the Mets, but I personally will always hate the Mets more than I hate the Phillies. So that actually caused me more internal pain seeing him in that ugly blue and orange. But yeah, I thought he was going to go back to the Yankees, and I think it's kind of weird to me to see a guy in his first year with such a historical franchise who, though they didn't win the World Series, they still won the pennant in the American League and made it and gave, they faced, like Steven alluded in the start of this video, a Dodgers team that was loaded last year and somehow got even more broken over the offseason. So you can't really hang your head low, but it's still confusing to me that Juan Soto found so much success as a Yankee in his first season there
And then
and
decides to get up and leave.
And I get money talks, and I get being getting the biggest contract the world of baseball has ever seen. I can't blame him. I really can't. So I know I can sit here and say, and question why he left the team he had so much success with after one season. But when you look at the contract, I think just about anybody would leave any team for that amount of money. On perspective of the contract, I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't deserve it because we know how good he was on the Washington Nationals, and he's only gotten better since he's left. And he
Yeah.
is and you could make the case that he is the best player in baseball. I know Otani is going to be the
Outside of
top
like
runner-up.
Otani, Judge, guys like
You
that,
can
you
make the
just like.
case. You can make the case, and I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you. But when
Yeah.
you got to take into account, what if he gets injured? What if he goes down the route that Acuna has taken these past 2 seasons?
That's what I was gonna
Then
bring.
you then you have to question, was all that money worth it? Because I know the talent he has, but to me, I don't think there's any athlete in the world, and this might sound crazy. I don't think there's any athlete in the world that is worth that amount of money solely because you cannot predict a guy's future when it comes to health. And if he suffers some kind of gruesome injury that takes him out and decreases his value,
Yeah.
then you just threw that much money away for nothing. And I hope this doesn't happen. I would never pray an injury over anybody, even if he plays for the Mets. But if that does happen and that's the reality you have to face, a lot of questions are going to be asked. A lot
Bro,
of questions.
speaking, I was gonna say, speaking of big contracts, but again, when you look at the Juan Soto deal, man, Juan Soto is at a young age of 26 when it comes to Major League Baseball. With a guy who averages 32 homers, 104 RBIs per season. Shut up, Steven. Per season is insane. I don't think he's worth that much of an amount of money, but throwing it back to the Dodgers, what Steven said, that the Dodgers now have Roki Sasaki, Blake Snell, the guy they just signed,
Can
Tanner
we can,
Scott.
let me just go through one more before we talk about the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
save that for a rant for the last because
yeah.
if once we get talking about the Dodgers, we're not going to stop. We're just
Yeah,
not.
you're right. You're right. You're
We're gonna
right.
be going on for
You're right.
pretty much the entire episode about them. Another big pitcher that was signed who was not. I was shocked when I found out where he was going to because I thought he was either going to re-sign with the Orioles or he was going to end up with a team. Like I
Arizona.
thought he might have resigned, like had a reunion with the Brewers. I thought the Yankees might have been able to get a signing for him,
Excuse
or
me.
even the Red Sox. But Corbin Burns has signed a big contract with the Diamondbacks,
Yep.
and that's huge for this Diamondbacks team who needs a guy like that's their ace now. That's a great guy that they can pair up with Zach Gallen, and that bolsters up their starting rotation in a very very competitive NL West division.
Yes.
Because I mean, obviously they're like the
You're right.
the prediction is they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot because unfortunately that's just the cards that they're dealt when you're playing in a
Right.
division with
When
the
the
Dodgers
Rockies
and
are
the
in that division,
Padres.
tough
So
to.
it's very tough for the Diamondbacks to compete in that division. And getting Corbin Burns is a great signing for them. I think Corbin
Yeah.
Burns is one of the favorites to be another Cy Young candidate this
Yep.
year. I think
Yep.
he's due for incredible seasons for them. But like you said, going back to these types of contracts and these types of signings for this big amounts of money, is you really have to rely on these guys staying healthy. What
Mhm.
Yeah.
happens when Corbin Burns, it happened with us last year with Chris Sale. Chris Sale, Cy Young candidate, but when we needed him in October, what happened? Bro got hurt. Corbin Burns, like if you can get him all the way up through September, and then some arm stuff starts to hurt, UCL tear or whatever else, then dang, what are you really up for? Like, what's the use for you then?
Yeah.
If you can't
Yeah.
help us in the times when we actually need you. So you're just hoping that health just everybody stays healthy and that everybody can, play to their full power because you never want to see a player get hurt. You never want to see players go through injuries. But that stuff happens and you have to take that into an account when you sign guys like this. So great signing by the Diamondbacks. What do you guys thought of it?
Bro,
Um.
I was
You
gonna say
go.
I love Corbin Burns. Honestly, I thought he was gonna go back to Baltimore, but him being paired up with Zach Gallen, and not just Zach Gallen, guys like Brandon Fatt and Eduardo Rodriguez and Merrill Kelly, definitely can push for a wild card spot in that National League West. But again, when you come to talk about Who else is in? Again, I'm not going to mention the name of the team because it's like saying Voldemort. Like that's the kind of level that this
Yeah.
team name is on at this point. I remember when 4 years ago everybody was saying, yeah, the Dodgers World Series ring was fraudulent. In 2021, 2022, 2023, they were all, yeah, they're chokers in the playoffs. But when they win the World Series and then sign guys like that are built for a whole rotation, like their back five, I posted it in the group chat today. Their back five that's not even listed on the rotation averages a 3.17 ERA. They're not even in the rotation anymore. Like Gavin Stone had a fantastic rookie year last year. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, man. And they signed like one of the best relief pitchers on the market in Tanner Scott. I don't
Again,
even
yeah.
I don't even want to watch them.
I mean, look, and I get what you're saying, and I know they're in that they're going to have to face the Dodgers and compete with them in the NL West. But this is, let's just go ahead and just take the Dodgers out of the conversation for now and just focus on the pickup itself. This was a big pickup from the Diamondbacks. It was a
Mm-hmm.
very bold step towards solidifying their place as contenders in that very competitive National League because the Dodgers are there. And adding Burns, like I said, to a rotation that already boasts Zach Allen, like you said, Jackson, Mario Kelly, and it creates that elite trio that's going to be very capable of
Of what?
he's underscored that 5 year stretch of being a top 10 Cy Young finalist, and he's had a career average of a 2.88 ERA. And it really
Yeah.
offers the Diamondbacks that blend of reliability that they were kind of lacking last year, which is why they took a big step back from winning the National League 2 years ago. And his ability to pitch deep into games while maintaining that efficiency is really going to complement the Diamondbacks, who already have an elite defense. And if you can, and the Diamondbacks really struggled in preventing runs down the stretch of several games, and having Burns go long and kind of keeping that bullpen refreshed and re-energized is really going to do the Diamondbacks a lot of favors as we get closer to October. So
No.
I really do like the move, but I do know what you guys are saying. You have
There
to take into consideration who they're up against, and it is the Dodgers.
All right, there is a move that I would like to see from the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think the
Okay.
Cardinals are going to get him. I don't think the Braves are going to get him, but he is still out there. And this is one of the key pieces that they need to stick in
Jackie
that
Poo?
NL West race. Santander.
Oh,
Okay.
I would love to see
Hmm.
Santander out in Arizona. It's like a Lourdes Gurriel Jr. situation. He balled out when he went from Toronto to Arizona, led them to 2023 World Series. Yeah. It's been a long week, bro. But Santander to Arizona Diamondbacks would be like insane out in
well,
Chase.
yeah. I don't know where Santander goes. If the market's just kind of crazy right now with all of these big contracts going up. There are two guys I want to talk about right now, just because they're big parts of me and Andrew's sports watching lives, and we watched
Yeah.
them. At least I watched them, and like from when they started playing for the Atlanta Braves back in 2017, and they were big parts of the teams. They were both a part of the 2021 World Series championship Braves team, and now they're both gone. Max Fried, in particular, is gone with the Yankees for an 8 year, 200 what is it, $202 million
18.
contract, something crazy like that. Which, as soon as I heard that was the deal, I was like, there was no way Alex Anthopoulos was paying Max Fried over $200 million to stay with
Do
us.
you
It was
know,
just not going to
and
happen.
yeah, once a contract reaches that kind of growth, it's wraps. It's over for Atlanta.
And
Yeah.
who's the other
The
guy?
other one would be AJ Minter going to the New York Mets, who, when I saw his contract worth, that's the one where I'm like, I can deal with giving 22 million to a guy, especially with how our bullpen's set up right now. Braves need bullpen help, and we have
Big
we
time.
have not made any moves. Any moves? Are we just going to stick with the guys? Are we just going to have Dylan Dodd, Dylan Lee, Pierce Johnson, Aaron Bummer, and Raisel Iglesias be our bullpen guys for this year, and we're just going to have to live with that, and maybe bring up some more guys from our farm system to help us out. Um, but I thought AJ Minter was a big part of our bullpen success for the last few
He's
years.
always been.
And
Yep.
just like when I saw that he only signed for 22 million, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's 22 million. That seems like a lot, but in baseball terms and how the contracts were, I can deal with paying Minner for another 2 years, 22 millions if that's what you want to do. But no, he went to the New York Mets, and the Mets now have bolstered their bullpen now with that they're just more stacked to compete there. It looks like um, there is a big change coming to the New York Mets because Pete Alonso looks like he is not returning. Uh,
It does. Yep, it does seem that way.
and I don't know where he goes. I don't know what team right now is in desperate need of a first base.
I'll tell you who it's not, though. And I do also want to point out, while we're on the topic of the Braves, that Charlie Morin, Baltimore Orioles, for those who had not seen that move, really a quiet one, but that is another pitcher that was once a part of that Braves World Series run that's no longer with us. But we knew that was
Yeah.
going to happen, so it's not like it's a shock. But I will tell you who doesn't need a first baseman, since we are kind of moving to Pete Alonso. And we'll go back to Diamondbacks a little bit, because this is a guy that I actually was really a big fan of and thought was always an underrated first baseman. He was once a DFA with the Orioles before he found his stride in Arizona and became a reliable power hitter and a standout defensive first baseman, and that is Christian Walker, who is now part of the Houston Astros. I think that is a very, very underrated move because, like I said, he had a very solid run with the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks, and now he secured that 3-year contract with Houston, who is betting
So
on his past success to stay relevant in a tough American League landscape that the Astros are faced with. But
so
go
you're
ahead, Jackson.
saying that Pete Alonso goes to the Diamondbacks?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I was just saying, Steven said, I don't know who needs a first baseman. And I thought that'd be a good segue to one of my underrated picks as we kind of dig deep into who does need a first baseman. But no, I don't
Who
think he
does
goes to
need a
Diamondbacks.
first baseman? I think Wilson Contreras should have stayed at catcher and we could have gotten Pete Alonso. But no, he wanted to
Shut
put
no.
Wilson Contreras at first base. And now
There was no shot the Cardinals were going to
Ivan,
pay that much money.
well, I'm a big fan of this guy. He learned a lot under Yadier Molina when he was in the system. He's like 22 years old. His name's Ivan Herrera, a great, fantastic catcher, up on the come up. But when we're talking about first basemen and guys like Pete Alonso, um, do the Mariners have a first baseman?
I mean, they don't. I feel whatever first base situation they have going on, Pete Alonso is going to be far and beyond better than what they have. So I think the Mariners could be in contention.
Because I
But
see
I
a
was
lot of contention about Pete Alonso going to Seattle.
I'm kind of thinking of markets who are big spenders and have the money to be big spenders. This is a stretch. This is going to be a stretch. This is kind of what I would like to see. I don't think it's going to happen. I would love to see Pete Alonso go to Toronto, though. Absolutely would love to see Pete Alonso in Toronto because
So you think like just like a platoon for the DH between Vladimir Guerrero and Pete Alonso?
Yes, that's what I can envision going on in Toronto. But I'm also just throwing this out there. I do think. Well, no, I'm actually going to take this back before I say it because I'm not feeling so strongly anymore. Um, this is tough. Pete Alonso is a very tough guy to talk about because then again it's always going to come down to which team is willing to spend that amount of money because whatever contract he gets it's going to be up there to what we've seen so far this offseason, and it's going to be a lot of money. So yeah, um
Mm.
I'm kind of at a loss here.
I did want to bring up, and well, this wasn't really an underrated signing. I think he deserved much more money, and this guy has been brought up multiple times on Dinger Dudes. Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker signed for a 5 year, $60 million deal to stay with Oakland. It's like,
It's not that
Or
surprising though.
deal. Something that Oakland isn't really known for is actually re-signing their players and keeping them from long term, which
Yep.
is thank God finally they learned from their past mistakes and now they need to do that with their closer as well. The name's
uh,
escaping me. Help me out.
Mason Miller.
Yes, that's another
I
guy
think
they
he's
need to
still on a
extend
rookie
for a
contract.
while. Well, he's still under arbitration. He just got
Yeah,
like yeah, they got him for a good bit before they have to sit there and think about extending him.
yeah.
One thing that I'm just before we move on to the inevitable Dodgers talk, which is just going to make me angry and get me upset. There's one thing that I need to talk about where, as just a personal fan of myself, and I'm sure Jackson would like to talk about how the Cardinals have handled their offseason moves as well. I would like to talk about the Braves offseason moves. But there's just been really nothing to say besides. I mean, we got Brian De La Cruz, which could be an underrated signing. He's a guy that has a lot of pop, can give you 30 homers in a year, but we haven't really
Yeah, yeah.
seen that in the last couple of years. I mean, he hit 27 home runs. What was it? Either last season or 2 seasons
He's
ago.
coming off one of his better years. He did very well for Miami this
He
past season.
averages like 22 homers a season.
It's just,
Seven.
but he's not going to be like one of our guys because he's just going to be a platoon with Jared Kelnick.
Yep.
When Acuna and Michael Harris are both back, or well, Michael Harris is back, but when Acuna does come back, I mean, they're going to be platooning in left field, just kind of going in and out. Um, so that's what you assume is going to be happening there. But dude, we have not made a bullpen signing. That has got to be something we have to do because I don't think we're going to make put a starting pitcher unless somehow we make the Jack Flaherty signing, which I just don't
I
think is
don't
going to
see it.
happen. I
I
think
don't
Jack
see it.
Flaherty goes somewhere else. It's just we're obviously that's just the market we're in. I said it before the offseason even started, is that Alex Anthopoulos is not a guy that's going to sign a guy for millions and millions of dollars. He's just not the offseason type of person. He like if a deal is like if a player wants to make a short term deal, then Alex Anthopoulos is your guy. But Alex Anthopoulos, um, he likes to instead go for the trade deadline acquisitions instead of trying to make off season signings, and
Yep.
I'm getting a
And
little frustrated with it. I'll be honest with you. I would like a signing to happen because we're struggling here. I just don't see the bullpen being strong as what we have right now. We need to make moves.
yep.
Steven and Andrew, I'm in the same boat, but I think I'm in deeper water. Because when you're looking at it, I looked at it today, and the Cardinals are one of six teams who haven't signed a free agent this offseason. We've let guys like Goldschmidt go. We let guys like Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, Steven Matz walk. But who do we have left? We have Sonny Gray, who we signed for a 3 year, $75 million last offseason. We have Jordan Walker, who we need to extend. We have a lot of young guys in the off season or up in the minors coming up, like Michael McGreevy, a guy named Tink Hence, who I'm really excited to see. He's like 22 years old, 22-year-old pitcher who's projected to be in our starting rotation. But there's guys that we can get for a bargain, like bargain deals, that are like 1 year deals, like John Means or Flaherty is still out there.
I
Honestly,
got
like Flaherty, a lot of people thought that Flaherty was either going to go back to Detroit or back to the Dodgers. Clearly, I don't think the Dodgers are going to do that now because they have everybody. But I can see him going back to Detroit. I would love to see him back in St. Louis, though. But I don't
I
really know. St. Louis isn't going to sign anybody. It's a rebuild year. I project maybe like 75 wins.
That's what I was gonna say. It's not you say deeper
Yeah,
water, but I wouldn't call it deeper water for you guys because the Cardinals and I know it's aggravating for any fan base, but
yeah.
the Cardinals and the Braves are on completely different ends of the spectrum. The Braves are in win now mode. The Cardinals are in rebuild mode, so it's completely different things. The Braves have a top five best odds to win the World Series, so we need to establish something to make sure that those odds increase and that we keep that consistency throughout the year. The Cardinals, y'all have a top five farm base in the Major League Baseball, and y'all are
Hmm.
probably going to really utilize that and lean on
Yeah.
calling those guys up this
Hopefully.
season. So that's really the reason why the Cardinals are probably kind of holding back on making any big signings because they want to try to get a younger foundation established before they get any veteran pieces in there, or else it's all going to fall apart. But I do have to go back to what I was saying about Arizona earlier because I completely forgot about the signing, and I don't know how we can talk about first baseman and not talk about
Josh
Josh
Naylor.
Naylor
I
going to
mean,
Diamondbacks because I completely forgot about that when I was talking about Christian Walker. But Naylor came off a very, very good 2024 season with 31 home runs and 108 RBIs. And being Walker's replacement, his production at the plate, although his defense isn't as good as Walker, Naylor's bat, highlighted by his high walk rate, should keep the Diamondbacks offense really strong, even though, like I said, his defensive and his base running is going to be kind of a step back to what Walker provided with
yeah.
Arizona, but it's going to give him the opportunity to stay competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Cardinal or the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers meet up in the National League playoffs at some point. But yeah, sorry, I just want to put that out there because I was a big fan of Josh Naylor this past season.
All right, let's get to it, man. Let's talk about the team that is
The
basically
Dodgers.
just
Ruined
uh
baseball.
that has taken over the trade the free agent acquisition talks, and just what they have done in this offseason is just it's nothing short of insane. It's nothing short of incredible what they've been able to pull off in this offseason, because not only were they able to sign one of the biggest free agent pitchers in Blake Snell, who I believe is going to be top runner in NL Cy Young conversations this year.
He always
And
is,
they're
though.
getting Otani back in that pitching rotation. So just the Blake Snell signing in itself, they have the best rotation in baseball. They have Shohei Otani, they have Yamamoto, they have Blake Snell, they have Tyler Glass now in that pitching rotation. That means you have the best rotation in baseball. And
Did you
so
say
you're thinking, okay,
They-
Blake Snell, that's it.
Yep.
Great. That's their
Yep.
big signing.
You're
They
right.
can have that happen. Great. You have
There's no way
Shohei
there's
Otani
anybody
for
else.
years and years and years. But no, that wasn't it. What else happened?
Roki Sasaki, baby?
Not even that, brother. Not even that. Not even just that. If then here comes. Okay.
Oh,
Yes,
Han Song Kim.
absolutely. Roki Sasaki, who we all thought, like I said, it was now between three teams. It was between the Padres, it was the Blue Jays, and it was
And
the
the
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
And I'll be honest, the writing was on the wall. When I heard those three teams were the only ones that were left,
Well, Roki Sasaki even said that his dream team to play for was the Dodgers. So as soon as he said
Rookie
that,
Sasaki, I've been watching this guy for the past 3 years in the NPB. He
your
is
ancestor,
projected. We saw how good that Yamamoto was his rookie year, right?
he was all
Roki
right.
Sasaki did better than in the NPB and is projected to be better than Yamamoto in the MLB.
And
That
they
shows how
re-signed.
scary. And they signed Hai Sung Kim, another guy from the NPB. They have Michael Conforto, and then again, you'd
Tanner
think it'd
Scott.
stop. The pitching would stop there. Tanner Scott, the
Or
cherry on
listen,
top.
Tanner
and
Scott,
they
and I was thinking, I was like, okay, if Tanner Scott, I listen, Dodgers were not on the radar as far as I thought with Tanner Scott. When I saw the money that he signed with the
Here.
Dodgers, I'm like, where is all of this coming from? This
Oh,
is why there needs to be
a cap
a
space.
cap,
they
a
also got back
market cap.
Teoscar Hernandez too for a 3 year, 66 mil.
Yeah, and he just had 33 home runs and he had 12 RBIs in the postseason at 32 years old. That was a huge signing. That
Unbelievable
was an
lineup.
absolutely
We
huge
all
signing.
know it's you got Mookie, you have Shea Otani, you have Freddie Freeman, you have Teoscar Hernandez, you have Will Smith, you have Max Muncy.
You know who they
It's an
don't have though?
all-star lineup. Who
You know who they
it's
don't have?
just insanity.
They lost
Um,
they lost Gavin Lux. So really,
Oh, Dodgers are done. The
yeah,
Dodgers are
Dodgers
done.
are done. They really lost Gavin. They
Honestly,
really lost this offseason.
it okay, yeah. Let's just talk about it.
oh
This
yeah,
this
Cubs
is
got
just completely disheartened. My love for the game. It really has, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna enjoy. I'm gonna watch the Braves do what they do this year. Just being pissed off that we have a freaking front office that doesn't want to spend money and
same
doesn't
with
want
the
to bring in big
Cardinals.
name guys here, because we have an owner we have a manager that just, like, God bless him. I mean, he was able to pull off a miracle in 2021 and we got a ring out of it. Thank God. And
Yep.
in AA we trust. But for God's sake, I am so sick of year after year after year of us not be dude. Anthony Santander is right there. I'm sorry. If you don't think that guy's worth $200 million for 4+ years to be in an outfield with Michael Harris and Ronald Acuna,
It'd
I
be
mean, that's, in
insanity.
my opinion, one of the best outfields in baseball. But we don't want to spend the money. We don't
Yeah.
want to commit to
I just want to
guys.
bring up a couple other names we didn't before this ends in like a minute and a half. Kyle Tucker to the Cubs, and the Yankees got their replacement and Cody Bellinger. You said Cody Bellinger, Max Fried, Paul Goldschmidt. They have a new first baseman there, so it's like everybody's making moves, but our favorent teams. And
He ain't
it's
no LeBron James. He ain't no LeBron James.
Yeah,
who?
Kyle that's
Paul
the weird
Goldschmidt.
one. It's like the Cubs just traded for Kyle Tucker, who is probably only going to play them for a year, and then he's just going to re-sign
Kyle
with another
Tucker.
team
Kyle
for
Tucker's a top five outfielder right now, though.
great, fantastic. What's that going to do for the Cubs this year? Nada.
Yeah, I think the Cubs are just kind of like one of those replacement teams that's going to kind of get boost his morale, boost his production a little bit, because it takes a while for someone to adjust, especially with his long tenure in Houston. But I do agree with Steven. After this year, he's going to go get the bag somewhere else. It could be the Dodgers. I'm just saying the Dodgers are always on the table.
Why not?
Hey,
Always on
Who
the
does
where
play
table.
with the Dodgers right now?
Yeah.
does Alex very very quick? Where does Alex Bregman go? I forgot him. He's still up there. Tigers. But Stephen, if you want to wrap this up, he goes back with AJ Hinch.
All right, that's it. Hey, listen, if you want to see more content, please go follow us on Instagram. It's Dinger Dudes. No matter where you look, we're also, hey, TikTok's back. It's not banned anymore. So you can go follow us on TikTok. Go follow us on Instagram. We're going to be posting more content. We are college students, so we're going to be kind of in and out with posting content here. But please go check us out. And then, hey, if you want to suggest on what you want us to post on our Instagram reels, please reach out to us, DM us. We're always open to talk with you guys. We appreciate everybody who's listening. Please subscribe. Please go follow. Please support us as we continue to